Brendan Rodgers takes brutal Rangers swipe with comments after Celtic win. Rangers terms emerge to kickstart new investment talks as Saudi interest mooted. Rangers dodge bullet after new developments at Celtic in last 24 hours. Rangers made bid to sign a phenomenon under Smith. They got Negri instead. Seismic Rangers claim made as Far East investor, looking at club right now amid personal links to Rangers. Ben Davies uses Rangers to help Birmingham City and provides excellent detail. If you wanted to tell Rodgers to shut up, stay until the end and leave that like, we are the people. Brendan Rodgers couldn't resist a cheeky dig at Rangers following Celtic's 5-2 win over Falkirk in the Scottish League Cup. In his post-match interview, Rodgers claimed that Falkirk were the best team his side had faced this season. Whether it was a sly jab or just an off-the-cuff remark, it's hard not to see the disrespect towards Rangers, especially given that Celtic comfortably beat them 3-0 in the Old Firm earlier this season. Rodgers' comment doesn't quite add up when you consider Falkirk, a Scottish Championship side, shipped 5 goals in the second half of their match against Celtic. Suggesting they were better than Rangers, who play in the same league as Celtic, feels like a classic wind-up. Even if Rodgers was genuinely praising Falkirk's style of play, it comes across as a thinly veiled jibe at Rangers' expense. For Philippe Clement and the Rangers squad, this should serve as fuel for their fire. If there's one thing that should light a spark under the players, it's being publicly discredited by their biggest rival. There could be a rematch on the cards in the League Cup final, and if that happens, Rodgers' comments might just become the rallying cry Rangers need. The gulf between the two Glasgow clubs is real, and with Rangers' financial struggles making it harder to compete on and off the pitch, it's clear that Celtic currently have the upper hand. However, football is cyclical, and if there's anything that Rangers fans know, it's that things can turn around quickly. Clement and his players have a point to prove, and Rodgers' remarks should be ringing in their ears when they next meet Celtic at Rangers in January. Rangers are in need of new investment to close the financial gap on Celtic, but any potential deal will require the backing of the majority of the Ibrox board. Football finance expert Dan Plumley has pointed out that while some members of the board are open to the idea of outside investors, nothing will move forward unless the majority are on board. Former chairman Dave King has floated the idea of securing investment from the Middle East and the US, with rumors of interest from Saudi Arabia. However, Plumley warns that until there is a consensus among the board members, conversations around investment will continue to stall. He explained that this is a familiar situation for football clubs, with many always on the lookout for new financial backers. But without majority support, the talks are likely to go in circles. Rangers' board is understandably cautious about getting involved with unknown investors, but if they want to keep pace with Celtic's financial power, outside money may be the only way forward. Hopefully, once a trustworthy investor is found, the board will align and Rangers can secure the financial boost they desperately need to improve their position both on and off the field. Rangers have been handed a bit of a reprieve in the Premier Sports Cup semi-final draw, avoiding an immediate showdown with Celtic and instead drawing Motherwell. According to Keith Jackson in the Daily Record, this is a bullet dodged for Philippe Clement and his side, as an Old Firm clash at this stage might be more than the Rangers can handle given their current struggles to find form and identity under the new manager. Clement's Rangers secured a 3-0 victory against Dundee, with Cyril Desires bagging a brace and James Tavernier scoring from the spot in their first game back at Ibrox. The win saw them through to the semi-finals, where they'll face Motherwell, offering the Belgian boss some breathing space and a chance to continue rebuilding momentum without the immediate pressure of facing Brendan Rodgers' Celtic. The possibility of a final Old Firm clash remains on the horizon, with Celtic facing Aberdeen in the other semi-final. While lifting the League Cup wouldn't completely ease the pressure on Clement, securing his second piece of silverware since taking over would certainly help silence some critics and boost confidence at Ibrox. Despite the break from an Old Firm showdown, Clement will eventually need to get the better of Rodgers if Rangers are to push for the Scottish Premiership title. Rangers are already 5 points adrift of Celtic, and fans will expect the manager to step up when the inevitable derby clash comes later in the season. It seems there's never a dull moment off the pitch at Ibrox these days, does there? The latest claim floating around is that an investor from the Far East, with personal ties to the club, might be eyeing Rangers for fresh investment. Keith Wyness, former Aberdeen CEO, has put this out there, suggesting that Rangers are once again in the market for outside backing. And let's face it, they probably could use it. With the leadership merry-go-round in full swing, CEO James Bisgrove off to Saudi Arabia, Chairman John Bennett stepping down, it's been a bit of a free-for-all behind the scenes. While things have settled slightly on the pitch with wins over Dundee United and Dundee, the pressure still hangs over Philippe Clement like an Ibrox pie at halftime. Wyness seems to think that this potential new investor could help steer the ship in the right direction, and to be fair, he's probably right. Fresh investment paired with a proper executive team would go a long way in stabilizing Rangers, both financially and in terms of the footballing operation. But this kind of talk always comes with a big if. The real concern, though, is how long Clement gets to do his job with all this boardroom chaos. Wyness reckons that while Clement might get a bit more breathing room thanks to this ongoing drama, it's all too easy for the turmoil at the top to leak onto the pitch. Rangers, like any big club, have seen their fair share of meltdowns in both the boardroom and on the grass, and Wyness isn't too hopeful about Clement's future. Let's hope Rangers can break the cycle this time, but you know how it goes with us. We're always one defeat away from a crisis. With this potential investor lurking, maybe, just maybe, Rangers could get the boost they need. But until anything's concrete, it's all just whispers and hopes. For now, we'll keep our eyes peeled and see what comes out of the Far East. It might be the lifeline the club needs. Back in 1997, Rangers nearly pulled off one of the most jaw-dropping transfers in football history. Walter Smith's side, fresh from winning their 9th league title in a row, were gearing up for a historic 10th, and the club was willing to splash the cash to make it happen. While Smith brought in some solid Serie A signings like Lorenzo Amoruso and Gennaro Gattuso, the real story is the one that didn't happen. Rangers made an audacious bid to sign Brazilian phenomenon Ronaldo. Yes, that Ronaldo. Incredible as it sounds, during negotiations with Barcelona, Ronaldo's agent Giovanni Brancini revealed that Rangers were serious players in the race for the Brazilian signature. According to Brancini, the Rangers even dangled a wild offer. Ronaldo wouldn't have to play in Scottish League matches if he didn't fancy it. Imagine that. Ronaldo banging in goals midweek in Europe, taking Saturdays off to rest for bigger matches. Instead, Smith had to settle for Marco Negri, an Italian striker from Perugia who, in fairness, came out firing. Negri scored a ridiculous 23 goals in his first 10 league games for Rangers, making it seem like Smith had landed the perfect striker to fire them to that coveted 10th title. But Negri's run was cut short by one of the more bizarre injuries in football, a detached retina from a squash match, leaving Rangers to stumble and ultimately watch Celtic snatch the title. Looking back, it's hard not to wonder what might have been had Ronaldo, the original phenomenon, rocked up at Ibrox. Would history have turned out differently? One thing's for sure, Rangers were swinging for the fences, and while Negri had his moments, Ronaldo would have taken them into another stratosphere. Ben Davies seems to be making the most of his loan spell at Birmingham City, and he's drawing from his experience at Rangers to handle the pressure of being expected to win every week. After waiting for his chance to break into the team, Davies impressed during his first League One start in a 2-0 win over Rotherham United, helping Blues to their first clean sheet in the league. Davies has spoken about how playing for Rangers, where the pressure to win every game is immense, has helped him cope with similar expectations at Birmingham. He's had a solid career with various clubs and loans, so at 29, he's no stranger to high-pressure situations. His time at Ibrox has clearly given him the composure to handle the demands of being in a squad expected to perform consistently at the top level. With Birmingham riding high in the league and unbeaten, Davies will be hoping his performance stakes a claim for more regular starts, even though competition is fierce. Christian Bielik's return might push him out of the starting lineup, but his solid display has certainly put him in contention to challenge the likes of Dion Sanderson for a more regular spot. It's clear that Davies is relishing the competition at Blues, and he credits the high standards in training for driving everyone to perform at their best, knowing that any given week could be their turn to shine. His experience at Rangers is now paying dividends as he helps his new club push for promotion, while keeping himself in the mix for first-team football. I'll be back with more bombastic and exclusive Rangers news at any moment. If you don't want to miss any, just hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, all right? We are the people.